When switching careers, a big question that always comes up is, should you take a pay cut? Well, the answer is maybe. Let's talk about it. So if we haven't met, my name is Cassandra. I'm a career strategist and speaker. I am also a career changer twice over, and it is my goal to give you intentional steps and information that will help you land a fulfilling job that you love. So let's talk about, do you take that pay cut? Well, really, if you take a pay cut or not can have a lot of different factors involved as to whether it's a yes or a no. But the one time I would say it is a definite no. Do not pass go. Do not collect money. All of that is, if the pay is below your minimum viable income, the money you need to live every day, then no, we do not take the job. I understand this sounds obvious. I know some of you right now are like, let me go to somebody else's video. This girl's too obvious. No, we're going to get into more detailed stuff, but I have to say it because sometimes if we are in a job that is toxic, if we are miserable in a job, or if this is something that's in the industry we're dying to get into, and this feels like this is our only chance to make it, sometimes we consider things that are not going to pay us enough to live. I want you to be strong enough to go, nope, that one is way too below the means, so I cannot do it. Now, if you have never figured out what your minimum viable income is, figure it out. What is the bare minimum you need to live? Not what is it you need to live to get a Starbucks 3 times a week and go out to dinner with friends. I'm talking about what will give you basic food, shelter, and heat, right? So figure that out and know it cannot go below this number. If it's below this number, we just say no. Just say no. Like dare. Is that a reference only people in their 30s plus will get? I'm just curious. Now, on the flip side, the good news is right now, so many companies are hiring. So many people are looking, have left jobs. There's so many openings that to make these positions enticing, employers are really raising salaries, right? They're raising those starting salaries, adding bonuses, etc. And so the odds of you needing to take a pay cut when switching are less than normal, I would say, if you're watching this video in real time. Your odds right now of needing to take the pay cut to get ahead, not really a thing you have to worry about as much. But there are some times when a pay cut may be a part of the deal. Some people believe that the only way to be successful is to continually be on a trajectory of going up. I mean, we literally call it your career ladder, right? It's on my logo. It's this ladder, but you probably have seen the meme, just like I have, that talks about success, right? And we think it looks like this, but it looks like this, right? So just know, sometimes we have to go down a little bit to come back up. Maybe we don't have to go down, but we go across. So if you want to make a career change, you may need to, for a time, take a pay cut if there's more opportunity in the future. If we want to get to a job where we feel fulfilled, that means things might get a little messy for a while. Things might get a little jumbled, and we may need to, again, for a time, take a pay cut so that we can get where we want to go and get those bigger jumps and raises in the future. I don't know about you, but I've been in jobs where great, the starting was fine, but then there were no pay raises along the way. Whereas if there was a company over here that, I might dip down for a second and then there's a lot more opportunity after. In fact, I took a job where I took probably a 15% pay cut because it would give me experiences I hadn't been able to get. And I knew it would be for a year. And then part of the deal was, hey, during that year, you can kind of explore the areas that you like. And at the end, we'll help you get into the specific area you want. So while I had to change some things for a while, it was going to lead to a much bigger payoff down the road. So the slight pay cut was worth it, and also to be in something I thought would make me happier than where I was in that moment. Another reason you might take a cut is because you'll get an experience that you know you can't get without taking that cut. Sometimes we do want to go into jobs where we know they're not going to look at us at a certain level if we don't have this lower level experience. So I once took a contract position with a cut compared to my normal salary because it was going to give me time in a department at a really reputable company that I knew I wouldn't get any other way, and I knew would be really beneficial towards what I wanted to do in the future. And so I knew the name recognition and the experiences would be worth the cut in the meantime to get me further along, build some reputation, build some credibility down the road. The other reason you may want to explore having to take a pay cut, and I think this is a really big one right now, it's why there is the Great Resignation and the Great Reshuffle, is quality of life. Sometimes we're willing to take a cut in pay to have more freedom or to be able to have our nights and weekends open again instead of working constantly or being in a super high stress job. I saw a news story where a woman went from doing some pretty high tech work to becoming a vet assistant, and she makes less, and she said she actually kind of works more hours, but she loves what she does so much more. Her life feels more relaxed. It's not as stressful. She likes being with the animals, that it was worth it to her. So sometimes that quality of life trade-off, that freedom, that mental and emotional, fulfillment, I guess, like less anxiety, it's worth it. And if you are changing careers, sometimes you have to take what's called a bridge job. So this hopefully won't be a pay cut, but it might be similar pay to what you're making now, but in a company that you want to switch careers into, do other things, work for them down the road in a different department. So you take a job similar to what you're doing now, but in the place you really want to be, so that you can start to get to know the people there, move into, get to know the departments you'd like to work in, and move into those roles down the road. So should you take a pay cut? Well, I hope you don't have to. Right now, it seems, unless it's very specific scenarios, that you hopefully won't need to, but it is something to keep in mind. If you haven't considered it, if you haven't figured out where it's worth it and where it's not for you, you could end up going for the wrong thing, or you could be saying no to something that actually could be really beneficial if you're willing to take that cut for just a little while. So keep it in mind. Think through what's your minimum viable income. Think about when it's worth it and not worth it to you. Hopefully this video gave you a little bit to think about in making that decision. So that is it for today. If this was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I have tons, like over 200, maybe over 300 videos on career advice for you. So go check some others out. I've got some suggestions here and here. That's it for today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.